This episode is brought to you by regret and bad choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, really, this is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And we haven't mentioned it in a few weeks, so I want to start off and just let everyone know that this episode and all of our episodes are proudly sponsored and run by Zencastr.
Yes.
the coolest and cheapest little podcast studio in the world, Zencastr with an R, no E.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, maybe think about that. It was right before as I was setting things up here. I listen to Sober Friends podcast a lot. That's our buddy Matt that was on, I don't know, episode whatever. Look back, you guys will see it if you want to find it.
You do the work.
Yeah, exactly. And they look like the Super Friends, you know. So it's Sober Friends, and he did that on purpose. He told us that in the episode.
Yep.
But I mean, Matt is ridiculously particular. I mean, about everything.
Right.
I know they do a lot of editing. He talked about that, and he talks about it on the podcast. And I think they usually record on a Sunday. You know, so it's like Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday when they put out an episode. So I was making a dinner the other night and flipped it on, and I was listening, and I thought I heard a little bit of a delay, which is weird because I never hear that with them. And then I could hear him talking, and then Steve in the background like muffled over, and then this long silence, like 3-4 seconds, and then Matt starts talking. I'm like, oh shit, that sounds like us with Riverside, you know?
Yeah. I
don't remember who he said he uses, but I hate to say it, but I mean, I'm sure plenty of people turned our episodes off. I stopped listening. I couldn't. I could not listen to the episode because it just, and that's why, we harp on people all the time, like our guests and things like that. Make sure your audio's good, and we won't take money. I don't know. I suppose if we got somebody if Tom Farley would have showed up and his audio is a little fucked up, I don't think we would have told him to go, kick sand or anything like that. But I mean, we tried to make it really important to people, just make sure, get your shit together because it matters,
Yeah. We care about something.
Yeah. And it just, and the fact that, and literally, I don't know if was I telling you the other day or no, I was telling Shirley when you had restarted your computer last week that I was listening. I popped into a couple of our clips from whatever it is now, 3 years ago. And it's almost, I mean, they're funny, when you listen to little parts of these clips, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it's us. And I'm like, I can't even be kind. I'm like, there's nothing about it the audio fucking sucked. We got lucky because our intro, all those clips except for 2 of them, I think are pre, decent studio. So we got lucky with those clips, but fuck, man. I mean, it's just,
it's bad. I know.
It's fucking terrible. So,
I mean, I'd love to, if there was some way we could run those early ones through some kind of AI and clean them up, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because you and I talked about that one time. I'm like, oh, let's just go ahead and record them all over. You're like, we're not doing that. Like, yeah, I know that, just fucking around. But I mean, it was only, and I say only, what was it? The first 20, I think it was episode 23 2, 3, somewhere in that area when we got Riverside.
Right.
So it wasn't too far in. So if anyone's listening to this, we're not saying don't go back, because there is some really good content,
Yeah.
some great stories, but we're just going to be really fucking honest. I mean, it's the audio. You've got to bear through it, man.
It sounds like shit.
Yeah,
We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing, but at least we sound okay.
I gotta write that down. We don't know what we're doing, but we sound good.
Right.
But our audio's good. I should do that up as a fucking tagline.
Right.
Oh man, that kind of brought tears to my eyes. That was funny. But yeah, I mean, that was back when we were on our phones, and I remember walking around, because I used to pace. I'm a pacer and I don't do it now, because I did it a couple of times with this setup, and I could hear my cord hitting stuff after the fact. But
Russell.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was like the cord itself was, I don't know, it was weird, but so I used to walk around, and then just the headset would, because the phone that I had wasn't meant to have a headset. So the headset would pop out, and one time you're like, yeah, you dropped out. I'm like, wait, what? And then I could hear through my phone. It's not through my fucking earphones anymore. I went through, I don't know, what was it, 6, I think, sets of headphones, 7 maybe. But yeah, I mean, like you said, we didn't know what we were doing and don't know now, but at least we just sound better. That's all it is.
It is.
But I got a couple of little things. I got a pizza thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about this place that I'm at. Just a brief thing with when I was in Branson, since we didn't get to talk about it last week. Not a big deal. I was in Branson before, but there's just 2 quick things on that. And then I don't know. I got some stuff. I do want to hear a recap of your DC trip.
Sure.
I made a note about that, and I don't know. It's Memorial Day weekend, so you can spit out your normal spiel to people, which is simple. But you know what? If people really, Mike has the key to success to getting through a holiday. So stay tuned.
Well, there's that, right?
But for now, what do you think? Time for a reading. What do you think?
Exactly. We're back on track. Let's do a reading. And this is from God Grant Me. This is actually today's. I read it this morning and went, that'll do. Nice. That'll do, pig. That'll do. So here we go. May 23rd. Down in their hearts, wise people know this truth. The only way to help yourself is to help others. Elbert Hubbard. He was a writer, philosopher, formed some sort of hippie commune in the late 1890s. That's my Wikipedia entry. All right, here we go. Bill W. knew this when he felt a relapse coming on in Akron. He looked for an alcoholic to help. He found Dr. Bob. The rest is history. Recovery is a quote-unquote we deal. We are in this with other people. We can't save ourselves and forget about others. Most of us have tried that many times. We change our lives by taking each other. We change our lives by taking each thing as it comes and handling it in new, healthy ways with the help and advice of our friends. The key is to, quote, use your sponsor, use your group, unquote. When we need help, we know where to get it. But here's the other part. When our recovering friends need help, to whom do they come? To us. We are part of their support group. We need to be there for others and to serve as a sponsor for others. Prayer for the day. Higher power. Help me see when my recovering friends need help and support. Help me be there for them as others are there for me. Today's action. Jesus, wasn't that enough action? All right. Today, I will make a phone call to someone in my recovery group who is having a hard time lately. I will let this person know that I am thinking about him or her.
Hi there, this is Mike. I'm thinking about you.
Right.
You know what? I remember that one because I almost posted
you read
that
it
one
this morning.
Yeah. Well, you know what's and this is kind of funny. So this is a kind of a side note. I get the sober curator sends out their emails now Monday,
Right.
Wednesday, Friday, and their Friday
Mhm.
one's a short weekend edition, which I do like, and was mentioned a couple of different times and things we have talked about. But
Mhm.
it gives you a little recap of stuff. But they mentioned there's a review that they did on Demi Moore's book, which I listened to,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I was about to think, God, that'd be kind of fun to be part if they ever did an episode on it, but I'm like, I can't. Um, I'm such an in the moment. I mean, obviously, this thing, thankfully, I live most days in the
Uh-huh.
moment. But when
Uh-huh.
it comes to movies, TV shows, books, fucking readings in the morning,
Mm.
I'm right in there, and then it goes away. I remember bits and pieces, like when I tell you about books that I've been listening to.
Mhm.
I have to sit there and keep it in my mind, especially if I'm driving. Maybe I can hit something and just kind of do a voice text into something and kind of make sense of it later.
Right.
But I can't remember these things. I couldn't. There's no way I could do a fucking book review on things. It's just I literally I can't remember. What is that? 4 paragraphs that I read this
Right.
morning.
Mhm.
But it cut off weird on it. So there was like I could have gotten a certain part, but then it was like the last paragraph was important. I'm like, fuck, I grabbed something else. But um, I did. I like the reading, and I've been posting a lot more from not necessarily on purpose, just because they've
Mhm.
been resonating with me more of the God Grant Me readings over the last probably, I don't know, maybe month.
Mhm.
Keep It Simple is in there every once in a while, and some of the
Sure.
other ones, but I don't know. I mean, they're really hitting home with some of these things, and like this one too. I mean, help yourself by helping others. I mean,
Right.
that's the way this started off, and I mean, literally the backbone of what we do, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right. I believe I read somewhere the root of our troubles is selfishness and self-centeredness.
Right.
So, right, yeah, where's the cure for that? Well, I don't know. Maybe thinking about somebody else once in a while. Uh, yeah, but absolutely, and talk about it endlessly on here. But all of the good things in our lives are byproducts of doing the next right thing, and that's a huge part of this is giving it away to keep it and all that crap. Right. All the good things in my life are byproducts of doing the next right thing, of helping others, I have shit in my life. I have, good things because I do things for others. Again, like Bob used to always say, AA math, it doesn't fucking add up. All right. How does me doing something for somebody else make my life better? 15 years into this thing, I still don't fucking know,
Right.
all I know, but I am pretty goddamn sure that, that works. It's true. I don't know why, I don't know how, but there it is. Yes, I do shit for other people and my life gets better. Fuck. Okay.
It doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense, but
No.
it doesn't have to, and that's the beautiful
Mm.
part of this. And we've talked about this plenty of times, but I mean, still to this day, anywhere outside of my recovery life, I literally, not everything, but pretty goddamn close to everything. I question everything.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know the what, the why, the where, the when. If nothing else, I've always been a why person. I
Uh-huh.
need to know the why behind things. I can't do something unless I understand how it works. I've
Mm-hmm.
used this example. I don't get into a car and just, now with the kind of car I have, press the button and just press
Yeah.
the other button and now, drive away. I understand what all this shit's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, I'm not a computer whiz, with some of the technology. I couldn't work on a car in
Mm.
detail like I could years ago,
Right.
some of the older ones.
Yeah.
But I understand and I listen for things and I know what sounds mean and I don't just look at, idiot lights and realize that, oh, what
Mm-hmm.
does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know the why behind things. But once I got beyond that with this,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a game changer. Like, again,
Right.
can it be that simple?
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect fucking example.
Yep.
That's me. That is me in infantile, need to know why baby
Mm-hmm.
at 9 months sober, going, I can't understand this person and that person. That was a Tuesday and he was a Thursday. He's got blonde hair and he's got blue eyes. Why does that guy? I don't get it.
Right.
Could it be that simple?
Yes, it can.
And it shouldn't be. I mean, it shouldn't be. It logically shouldn't be, but it
Mm.
100% should be that simple, and it
Yeah,
is.
it is. Right.
And the line in the reading said, "It's a we deal." I like that rather than saying it's
Uh-huh.
a we program. Hey
Right.
man, it's a we deal.
That's right. What's your deal, Wade?
Here's my deal, Wade. It's a we deal. But help and advice from friends, obviously use the sponsor in a group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that, I'm not saying that, neither one of us use. We both have, a sponsor that would do anything for us, and Joe
Mm-hmm.
in Cleveland,
Right.
obviously would do anything for us. I mean, I've had a couple of sponsors, since I left Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, None of them really did much for me. I
Right.
mean, maybe I didn't use them as much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really necessarily try to use Joe that much, or even
Right.
Bill, my first sponsor. But those two, Bill and Joe, did more for me, and Joe still does.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a child when I walk into that and I sit down next to him. I do.
Yeah.
He's like a parent.
Right.
I don't know how old Joe is. He's our age ish.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah. Probably couple years younger. Yeah.
Yeah, he may be. I have no idea how old he is, but
Right.
I mean, literally, and I just thought about that when I sit down to him or next to him at Who Do You Know,
Uh-huh.
I feel like a kid, like I'm talking to my dad,
Right.
and I just want to tell him all the things, and then sometimes he's like, I believe you. I believe you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. Yeah,
si-
I mean, you're right. For and me, when Joe became my sponsor, it was like, he just looked at me and he went, yeah, you're fucking, you know what you're doing. I mean, I really don't have to do anything for you. And I went, yeah, I know, just be there. And he went, yep. And it's but again, it's the spirit of the reading to me is we help each other.
right.
Right. Yes, he is our sponsor, and yes, you feel like, oh, he's, whatever, but not pedestal thing. I mean,
Oh, no,
we're
no, no.
right, but yeah, that's just it. And he would tell anybody that asked him, when we go to him, we're keeping him sober as well. I mean, again, I've talked about it on here. I've got one sponsee that is still sober from alcohol. He's not in the program anymore because he's smoking pot and he apparently can handle that now, and that's fine. But he's still connected to, he's friends with myself and other people in the program, and still sober from alcohol, which was his main problem. And still incorporates the principles and stuff in his life. He's just not really in the program anymore totally. And he does that out of respect for the program because, but again, successful, doing what he's doing. He's raising a stepchild, just got married in the last year, doing well. All the other guys I've ever sponsored, there's my first air quotes of the didn't do the work and didn't get the results. But you know what? Same, when Bill went to Lois, and said, none of these guys are staying sober. And she looked at him and went, yeah, but you are.
Right.
So, right. It's a two-way thing. I'm helping him. He's helping me. We help each other. And that's, everybody that I sponsored, all those guys that are not sober today, I stayed sober through the fact that, part of it was me helping them, being of service to another human being. That has helped me stay sober. So thanks, you fuckers.
Well, and we've talked about this plenty of times, and we've run across it. I mean, a ton of times. It's funny. I don't even know what. I know what it was when I was looking through Facebook this morning, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm getting memories on Facebook from 13 and maybe coming up on
Sure.
14 years ago,
Right.
and it just clicked in my head. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! I'm like, we've been sober. I mean, 15 years. I mean,
right.
that's and once again, I always I qualify this with it's a long time. It is, but it isn't. But whatever, grateful and all those sort of things. But
Mm-hmm.
it's still fucking mind blowing.
Right. Oh yeah.
but in that time frame, and we I come back to Cleveland and we go to a meeting with Stella Maris or
Mm-hmm.
wherever it is, or we go over to the Keating Center for one of the
Mm-hmm.
events, and we see one of these fucking guys, and I mean, thank God, they're still breathing air and they're above ground. But
Right.
I mean, these are people that I haven't been in Cleveland for 12 fucking years.
Right.
Almost. In a
Yeah.
couple of months, it'll be 12 years. I left
Yeah.
in July of 13. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be 12 years in a couple of months. And that's the last time I really actively sponsored people. I mean, I helped
Mm-hmm.
people along the way in Wisconsin, but
Sure.
never, I guess, entitled to true sponsorship.
Right.
But you see some of these guys that I worked with, 2
Mm-hmm.
or 3, at that time frame,
Yeah.
and, they're back at the Keating Center, 10
Right.
years, 12 years,
Right.
later, and I'm like, I mean, a part of me is, again, you're still breathing, you're still walking
Mm-hmm.
around,
Right.
but what the fuck, man? I don't know. I mean, I'm fortunate, grateful, all of the above. But yes, we had all the people in the world. We had all good people around us. So did they. We
Mm,
had all this different stuff. The
yeah.
the key is that we took the suggestions, we did the work, and
Mm-hmm.
we keep doing the work.
Right.
That's what it is. I mean, yes, we don't do this alone. All this shit was so freely given to us, but we
Mm-hmm.
still have to bake the fucking cake.
Yep. Absolutely. We got to mix up the crap.
Yeah, I mean, either one of us could have a fucking room full of, boxes of cake, and some
Mm-hmm.
of them open, some of them half open, fucking dishes, all over this goddamn sink with half made stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, we don't. Somebody gives us a box of cake, which is this wisdom. We
Mm-hmm.
make the cake, we follow the directions to make the cake, and then
Yep.
we eat the fucking thing because we earned
That's
it.
right.
We earned the goddamn cake.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, you're right, because the last thing I wrote down was the fact that it said, made it very clear that we are also, a part of somebody else's support group, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. It's the whole, it's the sobriety and recovery circle of life.
It is. Right. One
It's
drunk helping another.
yeah, and then one drunk helping another, and then one
Mm-hmm.
drunk helping another, and shit's got to keep happening, or somebody's going to fall off, or
Yeah.
somebody falls off. You got to go, okay, well, I got to go help this guy then.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a good reading. It's the simple stuff like that and maybe that's the thing of it is with God Grant Me lately. Maybe they're just getting very basic, and I don't know. I'd
Mm.
have to look back and see, but usually it's the readings like that are really simplistic, really basic,
Mm-hmm.
not trying to big thinking type of readings or anything like that. Just the
Right.
shit. This is basic,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is it. Here's the truth. Okay. Thank you.
Here is the deal,
Yeah.
Wade.
Yep.
But no, I mean, lovely, lovely reading. Better than your spin reading a couple of weeks ago, which that was okay. I mean, we probably had a good 15-minute conversation, mainly us laughing and making fun of the reading, but
Yes.
it provided even that provided some sort of content, and
It did.
it sounded better than what it used to. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's the
Right,
way that is.
exactly. The audio quality is better, so that's all that matters.
Right, the reading sucked, but you could hear how much it sucked
You
better.
could yeah, exactly. It's quite clear how bad that reading was.
Yeah, back in the early episodes, I would have known how bad that reading was, but yeah,
Right. We just pops and clicks. All right.
it really did suck, and I could hear that. All right, okay. So, anything else that you pulled out of the reading, or anything else on your mind about it?
No, no, that's it. Other than the fact that, coming up in a couple weeks here, it's going to be 90 fucking years ago that little incident happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of blew my mind too, because I was thinking about it. I mean, I'm here in Arkansas for another week, and then back in Indiana for a week, a short week, because
Right.
I took off on Friday and Monday, because we're coming out obviously on Friday.
Uh-huh.
And you and I haven't talked about it, not that it matters, but I'm guessing Kathy will probably stay by Helen's again on Friday, I would assume.
Uh-huh.
So do you want to record that Friday of Founders Day? I think we did last year, or do you
Yeah,
want to record
probably.
earlier? Okay. I mean, because I don't think that. I mean, we're not. I don't think there's anything else special going on that night, unless.
No.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we never go down on Friday. I mean, there's shit happening in Akron, but we're not going to be a part of it.
No. I knew that, but I mean, just in general, I was thinking that I couldn't remember, but I thought we recorded on that Friday of Founders Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to. We got time, but I just booked just a weekend, that 4th of July weekend. I'm going down to Kentucky. I was kind of up in the air about it. I wanted to see that Red River Gorge that I was
Right.
talking to you about, and I'm like, kind of wonder, because I went to. Actually, I was down here where I am right now. I was down here last year,
Mm-hmm.
4th of July, in this Buffalo National River area. But I'm like, kind of wonder, and I found a place that I can get for a couple of nights, and it's only $250 or something like that total. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we might have to do a hump day recording or something like that. Give us
All right.
a free weekend, both of us, and I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that. But
That
So,
works for me.
There, the sidelines. Nobody heard that, did they? That was
No.
off the record.
We'll edit that out later.
Not a fucking chance. Oh, by the way, speaking of, I was listening to, I grabbed one of the clips from Shirley's episode last week where I said that first time editing that she said something juicy. We had to edit it out. You're like, lies. You're lying. But real quick, and I was thinking about to do it to begin with, but sincere thank you from both of us to Shirley from last week. I mean, the episode played well. She was it was funny to me that she was nervous and kind of anxiety ridden going in. I mean, I get it. I get it.
Sure.
People don't like to do that sort of thing sometimes, but it was a good episode, good conversation. She said she got at least one comment from somebody that messaged her. I got a comment from somebody. Nobody emailed us.
Motherfuckers.
I know. So surely when you listen to this, you've got a reprieve.
Yes.
At least for another week. And we're talking 4 emails total. I don't care if it takes us 3 years.
That's right.
We need more fucking emails. You little liar, you're going to tell us. So
that's right. Absolutely. Hey, 4 emails from the same person. So, send them out, kids.
Yeah, exactly. Just with a different name. That's the same. Oh, no, it's not the same email address. Forget it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know I've got 3. So,
yeah. But yeah, so anyone, if you haven't listened to Shirley's episode, she's got a good story and it was a good conversation. And she was just, it was a nice, comfortable, I mean, to me, the hour and a half went by really quickly with her. And it was just, that's a really good sign. We didn't have to, she's one of those people that we didn't really have to pull conversation out of her.
Right.
And we've have had, which is fine, but it was a good episode. So
absolutely.
All right. Real quick thing about pizza. And I want to bitch about Domino's for a second and then tell you where I got my pizza tonight. So, when I'm at Kathy's at this Domino's in Valparaiso, I mean, I've gone there, figure it was coming up on 3 years ago when I gave up my place and went down there. And even though, I mean, I travel a lot, they know me and all this sort of stuff. And I think that I don't know. I would think that when the order comes through, even online, it's got my name on it. They know my name. I would think they would know it's from me, wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I don't need preferential treatment, but I want to be at least gets the status quo. Okay.
Right.
And what I mean is I want a pizza that actually looks like a pizza and has the appropriate toppings on it like a pizza. All that sort of thing. I don't think that's too much to ask for,
No.
You order pizza with certain toppings, you figure, I don't know. I'm not counting them, but there should be a certain number on there, right?
Sure.
And it's over the last couple of months. I mean, when I've been there, probably over the last 6 months, every once in a while, I mean, either it's like really fucking good or it's just like, it is what it is. I should say something, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to.
Right.
But I got out to my car and I peeked at it and I'm like, it didn't really look like it. Get back to the house and I opened it up, and literally what it looked like is almost like somebody walked by and did a drive-by with the toppings and threw it. I swear to God, that's what it looked like, because it looked like part on one side and then just kind of like sprayed over to the other. Okay. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking it. So I called and I recognized the guy that answered the phone. One of the guys, and right away he knew who I was.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to complain, but I'm going to. And I said, I wanted to make this clear. I don't want anything out of this. I just want to let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's happened here and there, blah, 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 the toppings. He goes, I know. He goes, basically what's happening. And this is a part that blew my mind, that the fucking honesty. Okay. He's like, well, with the cost of things these days, he goes, we're trying to cut down and minimize, the amount of toppings we use. And he goes, I guess somebody went overboard. And I paused for a minute in my head. I'm like, why would you even tell me that? That was number one. But I told him, I said, okay, I understand the cost of things, but I said, I'm still paying the same price, you know? And I said, what I'd rather have you do is put the right amount of toppings on. I said, I'll pay a little bit more.
Right.
And I said, and he's like, oh, I understand. He goes, I'll make no of it. I'll let somebody else. I said, well, here's the deal. I said, like I said, I don't want anything. I'm not asking for anything free, or I don't want anything. I just want to let you know. But I said, if it keeps happening, I said, I'll go someplace else. I mean, you guys aren't the only game in town.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So, and it wasn't, I mean, them losing my business is not going to be a big deal, but I took it as long as I could take it. And it reminded me, Little Caesars did that to me. Didn't they do that with you too? Did their pizza start getting a little weird for you, or was it just more convenient to go to Domino's?
It was just moving. And
was it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. and yeah, changing my schedule, and the Domino's is literally a few blocks away. And so, yeah, instead of driving into Lakewood, it's easier to just go up the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I didn't even map out where a pizza place was here, and that's the one thing I knew where the grocery store was, and literally it's Harrison, where that's where a Walmart and an Aldi is. It's 45 minutes away, 43 minutes away from here, which is fine. I don't care,
Right.
because the other way around, if I would have stayed up there, I would have driven down here to go see things. So it's
Right.
a horse
Yeah.
apiece, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked, I think it was when I got down here a day before, maybe a couple of days before. I'm like, God, I wonder if there's Domino's. And there is one, but it's like almost 45 minutes away, probably in Harrison. And
Right.
I'm like, 20 minutes away, like when I drove to Georgia or Tennessee
Yeah.
when I was in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
That's 40 minutes round trip. I can work
Right.
with that. I
Yeah.
can't work with an hour and a half.
Right.
It just would run into doing this and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta find a place, and there's this. I found a. I'm like, I don't even care if I go to a goddamn gas station that makes pizzas. I want to have pizza,
Sure.
And I found this place. It's called Boston Mountain Pizza. It's got to be just a local,
Yeah.
establishment.
Right. Yeah.
And I looked and pricing, whatever, blah blah blah. I mean, it was all said and done, and I don't like at these places when you go and they flip the receipt around. That's a tip thing, but I plan on tipping the guy. It's a little local shop.
Mm-hmm.
I am rather than national chains. If it's a local restaurant, I think you and I are kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm more apt to tip a local business person. Even if they're more expensive, which they were, because
Right.
I spent fucking $18 on a pizza. It was good, and it is good. Not $18 maybe,
Yeah.
but I get leftovers. I'll figure at some point over the weekend. But I'm like, I can't. It was 11 minutes away, and I went down there and I walked in. It's like a little sit down area. They got a salad bar. I'm like, who? They got a goddamn salad bar.
Nice.
Like, I had to come here for lunch. They got like soup and a trip to the salad bar for like $9.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. It just kind of cracked me up. The Domino's thing, I'm like, God, this dude's fucking honesty. But and I get it. I'm sure there's other places that are doing that. But I don't know. Raise your prices. People did it after
Yeah.
COVID, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather see the price of the pizza go up a dollar or two.
Yeah.
Than
and maintain the quality. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm fine
absolutely.
with it. I'll bitch about the cost for a little bit,
Oh,
but
sure.
I mean, because that's the American way.
Well, of course.
But I mean, I'm still going to go there. I would still go there. I just want, just give me a pizza that actually has some substance to it. I didn't order a goddamn cheese pizza with, with a jizz of toppings on it, because that's what it looked like. Just like,
yeah,
there you go. Thank you. Yeah, but anyhow, you know how it is. Me and my stuff. But okay, back to you, Mike. I would
yes.
love to hear about your recap of DC.
Okay. Yeah. Went to Washington D.C.
I had this feeling if I could do that. That's okay. That's all right.
No, it was cool. Yes, we went. Chris, my girlfriend. My girlfriend's son. I'm gonna explain at some point, not today, why I giggled like that. Because I haven't told you in the real world. So have I told you? I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway, okay. All right. I don't remember. Anyway, so yes, her son Cameron, who is in the Air Force, thank you for your service. He has been going through college while he's in the service to improve himself, and it's like it's an online thing. It's not actually, anyway. So people from all over the country were going through this college course, and they all had the ceremony in DC a couple weeks ago. So anyway, we went there to celebrate his graduation. It was cool. I'd never been to DC before. I'd been around it and rode a bus through it, but never actually spent any time there. It was great. Chris kind of screwed up our flights. She sent me the flight information, and I bought my ticket like the day after. Did I talk about this on here at
Yeah,
all?
you mentioned it, but not like when you actually got there, because you got to kick around by yourself for a while,
Well,
right?
no, actually, I didn't. Thankfully, Cameron got there the day before. They got in Thursday night, so he got his ass up and picked me up from the airport Friday morning, which was very nice of him. Yeah, so I didn't have to do that. And yeah, went back to the hotel and just hung out. And we actually spent that day because Chris didn't get in until later in the afternoon. So we went to, where the hell did we go? Arlington? No, was it? Alexandria. That was it. Virginia. Spent the day there. We went to the Washington Masonic Memorial, which was really cool. Because all those guys were Masons, secret society, another secret society. And yeah, so it was, the history of that, and yeah, this big ass building, that was cool. So we hung out there, and then we went down into the old town and went to this apothecary museum and got the tour there. That was cool. Lots of opium and all that kind of cool stuff that they used to prescribe, quote unquote, to people. And yeah, really interesting. And so we hung out, and then we, Chris came in, we picked her up, and we went out to dinner and kicked around there. And then the next day, we all went to DC for a while. Went to the National Mall, the Lincoln Memorial, all that cool stuff. If you guys saw the pictures, I'm sure you posted them on Instagram too. The Washington Memorial monument, whatever, sticking out of my crotch.
Yeah. I said, what did I put? That's the one I posted. That one, the guy posted the picture of, because you had Cameron, you and Cameron, and then the picture of you, and I posted both of those. But I think I said you were like your picture of your monumental erection or something like that. Yeah, it's something along those lines. So yeah, I posted that one because I had to. Yeah, that one for sure.
Because I'm a child. So that was cool. And then the ceremony was that afternoon / evening. That was all very cool. The commencement speaker was a colonel. Yeah, she was a colonel and a Marine colonel, and had a really cool speech. And she talked about there was a lot of stuff that actually kind of related to sobriety sort of stuff, not meaning to. And it certainly wasn't intended to be that way. But yeah, a big thing. Let me see if I can get this right. Let's see. She said, what did she say? Your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your character.
Nice.
She over and over. She said that, a few times. That was like kind of the crux of her speech. And no, it was really cool. I mean, she definitely looked like a Marine colonel. But she was just very cool. That was a very cool part. So thank you, Cameron, for letting me be a part of that. Yeah, and then the ceremony was cool. Then we went out and had dinner again and celebrated a little bit. And, there was one of the beautiful moments, and it wasn't really all that cool, beautiful moment for anyone but me. But we were having a discussion while we were having dinner and blah blah blah, and someone was talking about, I'm not going to get into the details, but it was basically allowing themselves to do something that they probably shouldn't be doing. And I went, oh, cool. So I could go get a vodka and tonic. Right. And Cameron kind of wasn't paying attention to that, because we're all at the table and everybody's talking and whatever. But he heard that part and he turned and looked at me all dead serious and goes, I'll kick your ass. And it was just so beautiful. It was so loving and so caring. And it was a wonderful little moment. So yes, I felt loved. It was great. So that was very nice. Yeah, and then the next day, our flight didn't leave until like 10:30 at night.
Oh God, really? Wow.
Yeah, and Cam and his wife and the girls, their flight left at like noon. So, so we didn't have a hotel room to stay in. So Chris and I wandered around downtown Washington D.C. like homeless people. It was wonderful. Yeah, I'm like, because I had a stuffed ass backpack and she had a little travel suitcase on wheels, whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to walk around with all this stuff all day. So I'm looking for, the airport didn't have lockers, the bus terminal didn't have lockers. Apparently that's not a thing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was really kind of surprised. Um, but it was AI suggested, check with hotels down there, so I'm like calling around. We got dropped up. They dropped us off before they went to the airport, down by the White House. Just here you go, get out. Okay. And so I'm calling around and they're all going, no, not unless you're a guest, not unless you're a guest, blah, blah, blah. And one of them that was actually really close to where we were at by the White House was like, well, go out and talk to the valets out front. They can probably steer you in the right direction. So we walked over there and the dude was all, oh shit, man, give me $40. I'll go stash them for you. So yeah, you did. So they stayed at, the hotel, they stayed at the hotel, even though we weren't guests.
That's kind of fun. So, and the funny part is, I've been with all the traveling that I did for work stuff. I've been at hotels like that where I had to check out, but I didn't have to go to the airport right away.
Right.
And I've had the hotels like, oh yeah, we can keep your bag here,
Sure.
behind the desk or whatever.
Right.
So I like you said, I mean, I wouldn't want to drag that shit all the way around.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I don't care what type of bag.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up walking, close to 10 miles that day. So,
right.
Yeah, it was going to be a real drag if we had to do that. But no, so that worked out. Yeah, then we went to the White House and, I got a picture of me flipping it off. Then we walked down to the Capitol, which is, a couple miles away, and got a picture of me flipping it off and, singing I'm Just a Bill sitting on the steps. It was just fun.
Right.
Yeah, and just bopped around, looked at the stuff, man. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's and Dawn and I did the same thing. We were going to do that. I don't know. It's like this trolley tour or whatever, and then that's when I had the stomach issue and had to get up and get off and go in some hotel bathroom and ruin that bathroom, and then we just did the same thing. We just walked around all day and went to all the things, and it was it was something else. I mean, shit, that was 20 years ago now.
Right.
I mean, God, probably. Yeah, I don't think Derek was more than a couple years old.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 22 years ago, something like that. It's been a long 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I would love to go back. I'd love to go back just to. I've looked around that area, and I'll get more East Coast ish at some point, and I wouldn't mind. I don't think I could afford to stay anywhere close to DC, but I could stay outside and go down there. I would love to walk around and just see that. It's fun going to see trails and shit like that, but do my hiking through our nation's capital. I would enjoy myself. I really would.
Yeah. Yeah. And clearly, we didn't do much of anything, really, we didn't, go into anything and do any tours and, the Smithsonian and all that stuff. We didn't do any of that. We were just like, kind of enjoying being down there. So it was cool. Yeah. And then we rode the metro out to the airport and sat around there for a couple hours. It was great. Yes, it definitely, like I said, man, there were times of my life where I wandered streets downtown in cities, with nothing to do.
Right.
And it was kind of a flashback to that. And I was very glad I had a home to come home to.
Yeah. And actually wandering the city and, not in a haze or wandering the city in a blackout or.
Right. Yes. And actually being able to, buy food and.
and like enjoy what you're looking at. And
right. Not being sick or it was nice. So yes, we had a very good time.
Well, that's good. But yeah, to back to your beginning thing, you told me about the trip that your trip next year that you're planning. So
yes,
is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
You told me about that. So okay, no, I get it. We'll leave it at that. But so 2 things about your story. I told you that our Grandpa Jackson was a Mason and a Shriner, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. Yeah, when
Yeah.
you said the whole secret society thing, yeah, he was a dually, man. He had his
Right.
fucking Shriner thing, he had his Mason thing going on, but yeah, he was a big part of that for
Mm-hmm.
or those two groups for years. I don't know
Right.
what he did. He never got to ride around in the cool go-karts like they'd use in the
Nah.
parades or anything like that, which, kind of after all said and done and I got old enough, I'm looking at that, I'm like, God damn, why didn't Grandpa get to do that? Maybe I
Yeah,
would have been
right.
able to. And in the thing that Cameron said to you, that reminded me of Corey
Mm-hmm.
when I was helping Derek and Katie move. Isn't and,
Right.
and you're right. It's just that feeling of
Yeah.
thank oh somebody cares.
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
they care enough to want to kill me if I drink again.
That's right.
It's so sweet. That's
It
so
is,
sweet.
isn't it?
Yeah, in a fucked up and beautiful way. It is really goddamn sweet.
It is. Right, which is the exact opposite of how we used to feel. You know,
Oh
what
yeah.
do you mean? Fuck you. Don't tell me I can't drink.
Right. But no, that's great. I mean, I was looking. It's like I was flipping through Facebook, and once again, I'm usually only on there in the morning and at night. So I think I saw almost all of your pictures at one
Right.
point, and from throughout the one day that you were kicking around doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, I'm like, oh, he's flipping off that, he's flipping off that, and I'm like, oh, that's fun, he's flipping off that.
Oh
Then
yeah,
yeah,
the
so
FBI building too. We happened to walk past that, so I flipped that off.
yeah, I guess I missed that one, but I did see your note. You're like, just so you know, I hate them all. It's not
Right.
I'm not being specific. I'm not,
Uh,
to
and I
targeting.
didn't use the word hate. I said despise.
Oh, despise. Sorry. I know you wouldn't use the word hate. So yeah, I
Right.
despise them all. So
Yes.
yes, I apologize for that because yeah, I know you wouldn't. There is nothing in my life that we've talked about that. I don't. If I've ever said the word hate, especially on here, I correct myself because
Mhm.
it's too strong. I mean,
Yes.
that's way too strong.
Yeah.
Despise, dislike,
Yes.
strongly, strenuously object. Oh no,
That's
I
right.
strenuously object to that person.
Yes.
I have tried over the last, and I'm just not going to fucking pay for it. I want to we've talked about it a couple of times. It's come up in my thought patterns. A Few Good Men I want to watch again,
Uh-huh.
but I don't want to pay for it because I think the only way that I could get it, I think I was going to have to buy it for like $9, which
Yeah.
I can shit out $9 and probably not worry about it.
Yeah.
But it's the principle of
Absolutely.
it. Like I don't want to just blow I'll go blow $9 on something else that'll be more fun. I mean, A Few Good
Mhm.
Men is fun, but
Yeah.
yeah, I strenuously want to see it again.
All right.
All right. So speaking of that, what about? I was going to say strenuously take a break. That doesn't fit, does it?
No.
So let's just take a break. How's that?
That sounds like a plan. All right. Well, we will not strain ourselves and be back right after these words from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, this is Finn and Dr. Sarah from Leaving Crazy Town, the podcast where we discuss codependency, relationships, recovery, and addiction, while keeping it real with humorous stories of our own lives.
You're listening to Sober Not Mature with the badass boys of recovery, Mike and Bill, whose dedication to sobriety takes you on a wild ride with just the right amount of edginess. Fasten your seatbelt and enjoy the episode.
Hey everyone, it is your friends at Sober Not Mature. And we're going to keep this really simple. We have two websites that we'd like you to visit. One is our podcast website, which is SoberNotMature.com. The other one is our store website, which is SoberNotMatureShop.com. For everything associated with our podcast, you're going to want to go to SoberNotMature.com. If you want to buy some merchandise from our podcast, all of our Sober Not Mature merchandise is on our store website, which is SoberNotMatureShop.com. Visit those today, and we will get back to what we were talking about. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, I just lost track of where the time came in. I think that might be the first time that I've ever broken character in a break because
It is.
So it is going to be in the break where Mike says zzz,
Yes.
because I'm going to leave it in there. But so we were at 45 minutes and 33 seconds when you used words from our sponsor, and I'm sitting here all of a sudden. Zzz. So I think that's going to be 35 because I'm going to have to do that.
I'm gonna
And
have to. Yeah, sorry, made you work. I'm gonna make you work a little bit harder on this one.
It doesn't. All it does, it's a matter of typing in a 5
Yeah.
versus a 3.
Uh-huh.
It's so easy. It's the editing software. Literally, I run the slider to the point where I get to like the 45 mark, and then I type in 33,
Mhm.
and then I play it real quick to make sure of where I've
Right.
cut off. And if
Mhm.
it's close, I can add 30 seconds or 45 or another second or two, full second, whatever it is. I can. It's not hard.
Okay.
And then my cutoff point, I'm going to put a question mark on that when I came back in because I giggled in the middle and I lost track
Yes,
of
you
time.
did.
So, but yeah, that I think that's the first time I've ever broken character. So,
Yay.
you know what? I might just leave that all in and just now. How can I do that?
Nah, you'll figure it out.
I know. But anyhow, because all you people would have just heard our new website promo. I changed
Oh,
it 2 weeks ago because obviously we got rid of the coffee and the books and stuff like
sure.
that. So I just right as I was doing the episode or so coming up on or whatever, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, I don't want to keep running that because it's not there.
Sure.
So you and I got to take a minute. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter when, it'll take us whatever it is, 2 minutes to record a new one for both of us. But I just did. I'm trying to find because the thing that bothers me now is that when we switched from when Spotify did their whole switch over, I used to be able to drop background music and all this stuff, which I liked.
Mhm.
I can't do it anymore. So
Mm.
our episode clip, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But for this, for our website promo, I want that. So I'm looking into a couple of websites if I can get something there without having
Yeah.
again, pay too much money to do it. I'd like to be
Right.
able to drop some music behind it, or
Yeah.
maybe I'll bribe Breeze or something like that to drop
Yeah,
some
or
music behind it.
whatever. When we record the promo, I'll just have my phone next to the microphone playing some music in the background.
You know what? That's about our speed. That is
Yeah.
about our speed. So
Yeah.
it would have to be we need to make sure that it's royalty free something,
Right.
some random whatever type of. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah, we will.
But okay, so I had something. Oh yeah. I wanted to bring up the fact because this was kind of funny, and I'm not obviously going to say what the subject matter was.
All right.
But so yesterday was when yesterday you texted me, and it's not that Mike and I don't ever talk outside of Fridays. We do, but it's rare just midweek for Mike to
Sure.
send me a text. And I can
I was like,
when
what the hell did I text you about? Oh yeah. No, it
but again,
took
I'm
me-
not. I'm not
right.
gonna bring up the subject. It's just
Right.
just what I thought. So I get a text message. I just tap my phone and I see it's from you, and I'm like, God, what fucking day is it? I'm like, it's Thursday.
Right.
I'm like, are we supposed to record tonight?
Uh-huh.
Because it was about that time of day, like you did
Yeah,
today,
right.
when you kind of let me know how your
Yeah.
schedule is, and then I can open up my text program and just see like the first line,
Mm-hmm.
and you had a person, you had a line in there, and then
Yeah.
a space.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I just forwarded the text that I got, basically.
Right, but I mean, I couldn't see the regular body of the text, so I didn't know what it was about. So, so I see this first line and I look and I'm like, oh fuck me. I'm like, who fucking died? I'm like, somebody fucking died,
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I left it. I don't know how long was it? 15 minutes until I got back to you.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which I mean, I was working, but I'm like working my way up, kind of working myself up to read who fucking died.
Mm-hmm.
And I read, I'm like, oh well, that's nothing to do with death.
No.
Like it has literally zero to do with death.
Yes.
It could be kind of on the other spectrum of things.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, okay. But then I thought about that. I'm like, I got to write this down because this is a topic of conversation. Because
Mm-hmm.
my question is, I think I know the answer, but once again, are we just conditioned, to think that? I mean,
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, we are. Yeah, a random out of the blue. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's one of us fucked up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not just to make this, I mean, crystal clear. It's not that Mike and I don't talk or don't text or
Right.
anything like that. But it was two things. It was not just the fact that getting the text, but then having that the fact that it was forwarded me just seeing a 1st
Mhm.
line,
Right.
and it was just a little out of the ordinary. I'm like, fuck me.
Yep. Yeah, that's generally what that is. Yeah, so passing along information.
Hey, look what I saw on Facebook, man.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. Well, I did that to you when our buddy Steve died.
Yeah.
Because I saw something on that one I saw that on LinkedIn.
Right.
because somebody had made a comment about it on because I follow Leah on there.
Mhm.
So that's how I found out about Steve, and then I
Right.
searched and found out some more shit. I'm like, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's just a matter of being conditioned. And it reminded me of when Kimmy and I first, started rebuilding, our
Mhm.
relationship. And then I think that I don't know what it was. It was like for a certain period of time, I think Kathy was reaching out to her. Maybe I was, and it
Mhm.
was like either somebody's about to die or somebody died.
Right.
And then I finally, like Kimmy and I, as we were getting together, I'm like, hey, I said, at some point we're going to probably have to send text messages to each other about things other than people dying, so we don't get, freaked out every time, our phone buzzes and it's us.
Yes.
And she kind of laughed about it, but I don't think
Mhm.
anything of it getting a text from her,
Sure.
or even for getting a text from Kathy, because she'll text me about random shit all the time.
I would imagine.
But again, it's you, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just the
Yeah.
way that you and I are,
Yeah. It's just exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't even think about that when I said it, because I got it was in a group text to a bunch of us, and I was like, oh shit, I got to share this with Bill, because
Right.
you weren't on it, because the person that sent it really doesn't know you, so yeah, so I was like, oh shit, I got to pass this along. This is cool, and didn't even think about that, but yeah, right, yeah. Normally that would be somebody died.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, it's just the format of the text and whatever it was.
Mhm.
But yeah, literally, I'm like, it's just seriously. I thought about that. I'm like, is that just really the way we're conditioned? And like
Well,
you
it's
answered
just
it.
the fucking reality of the just life that we've put ourselves in.
I know, isn't
Yeah.
it? Isn't it? It's just it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it's funny with. So we do these with speaking of almost the same thing. We do these call reviews at work, and usually the
Mhm.
only time that I get that I'm included in a call review is if my numbers are down, and that's what he does. And I understand.
Mhm.
I've been on
Sure.
the other side of it and all that stuff, and he'll usually pick certain people who are at least from a number side of things, maybe not struggling or doing really bad, but anyhow.
Mhm.
And then he'll also do these, and he's done it to me. It's been probably 6 months, maybe
Right.
5, and he'll book these through our trainer. These strategy sessions is what they're called.
Mhm.
Get booked. I'm like, oh fuck me,
Yeah.
because I
Right.
know what it is. I know
Yeah.
where my numbers are. I'm behind. I'm
Mhm.
pacing
Sure.
behind, and like it's a get together. So what's going on? What do you
Right.
see? What can you do? This sort of thing.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, fuck. And my manager is a nice guy. I don't hate him or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
There's the word again, but I don't like the process.
Sure.
So we get on there, and he's like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Well," I said, "I know why I'm here." I
Right.
said, "Obviously,"
So, yeah.
I said,
I do know how I'm doing.
"Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I know why I'm here." And I said, "Yeah," I said, "I'm behind." He's like, "No, no, no, that's not what we're doing." I'm like, I said, "Come on." I said, "I understand
Yeah.
it." He's like, he goes, "I apologize." He goes, "That's not what these are supposed to be." But I'm like, I said, "You forget." I said, "I've been on the other side. Number one,
Mhm.
I'm not offended by it, but
Right.
I know what the deal is,
Yeah, exactly. Right. I understand the process.
I didn't tell him I didn't tell him I didn't like it, but I'm like I just say, but fine, and I told him too. It was just kind of funny as we were talking, and I said, here's the thing, and I said, um, basically, it's I'm not doing anything differently. I said when my numbers are down, I said I get frustrated because I can't, again, back to the why part of it. I
Mhm.
can't figure out the why. I've talked about this. I don't change my work, my habits. I'm very
Right.
methodical. I work my route the same way.
Mhm.
Whether I'm getting fucked with or hung up on or not talking to people, I don't fuck off. I understand the law of averages and numbers
Yeah.
and everything like that. And in my head, although I didn't say it to him, it takes just as much effort to fail at this job as it does to do well.
Mhm.
There's no difference in it. It's a matter of, it's these
Yeah.
ebb and flows,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
what am I in an ebb or a flow? An ebb? No, I'm in a flow. Ebb's
Ebb.
I'm in a down.
Yes. Ebb.
I'm not in an up, an ebb. I'm in an ebb.
Yes.
Um, but he's like, he goes, God, he goes, maybe I should try to schedule these for other times. And then he goes, and I said, I understand, you got to do this, especially when people are struggling. He's like, no, no, no. He goes, I just did one with Ryan the other day. I just did one with Oscar. What I didn't say to him, I'm like, well, of course you fucking did. The two of them are like blowing shit out of the water right now.
Right.
They're like crazy. I mean, over the
Mhm.
last couple of months. So I said,
Mhm.
of course you meet with them. I said
Right.
what I wanted to say, but I didn't. I'm like, you meet with people on the extremes. I understand it, but
Yes.
don't try to tell me you're doing anything different. I'm not fucking stupid.
Right.
It's the high. It's on the highs. It's like keep going. It's on the lows. Like come on.
Right.
And that's
Exactly. Yeah.
what
And the
this.
ones in the middle get left alone.
Yeah, and that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Right.
And like I said, it's been for the last 6 months. I've been right in that middle. But we talk about that's what made me think about it is that we talk about this middle. I don't mind being in the middle of the pack. I'd rather be upper middle. I'd
Yeah.
rather be in the
Sure.
top. Based on the number of people. I think there's 12 people in our group.
Mhm.
Um, I'd like to be in the top 3, maybe 4 at the most.
Yeah. Right.
That's respectable.
Mhm.
Because then I'm still in the top third, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
and what? I'm fine with that. But yeah, when you get to that in this, dropping below that middle part, and
Mhm.
then it's tracking you out where you're going to end up at the end of the month and where you should be pacing, and then you start seeing percentages, and that's what draws up the flags. And I
Mhm.
get it all. I get
Yeah.
it all.
Right.
But anyhow, I don't even know why I started talking about that. But what were we talking about? Oh, conditioned. What we were
Yeah,
conditioned.
being conditioned, right? Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Well, it comes back to the averages and the statistics and the reason why the spite is so strong in us. Right.
Right.
Yeah. 10% of you guys are all going to make it. That means 90% of you are going to fail. Well, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's it. It's the percentages and the statistics that, yeah, if I'm sending you that random forwarding text thing, it's probably somebody's dead.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And if I'm getting a meeting for a strategy session, I already know why, and it's just
Exactly.
and I don't know. It's once again, this job is allowing me to do what I need to do, but I know certain times I'm like, God, dude, I'm almost kind of like feeling like I'm too old for this shit. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I like the amount of money that I could make, but again, I get this what same thing, frustrating that I don't know what to do differently to get to that next level until they put me to the next level. If I had bigger balances, that would make a difference because I know where my success rate is. I know
Mm-hmm.
how I am on the phone. And it's like the difference of, okay, I'm collecting a couple of grand over here versus maybe it could be 7 or 8 grand. That's where
Right.
the difference is going to come in. I was talking to one of his name's Wes. He came up through, he was level 1 when I started, had been there a while, but got moved back and then now moved up to a level 4, technically, which was a level 3. But when he was doing a side by side with me the one time, I asked him. I said, "So what is the biggest difference for you?" I said, "Is it more difficult being a level 3 versus 2, or
Mm-hmm.
what have you seen?" And he goes, "God, no." He goes, "Level 3." He goes, "Level 2 is the hardest." He goes,
Mm.
"Level 1." He goes, "All it was is volume." He goes, "We're on the
Right.
dialer, we're kicking out the volume," and he said, "It's just going to happen." He said level 3, he said they take longer, but he said
Mm-hmm.
you're working these balances, and he goes, as long as you're being diligent, you're going to get these bigger payments, and that's going to
Right.
make your month. He
Mm-hmm.
said level 2, he goes, that's the purgatory part.
Right.
And I mean, that's where I'm at,
Yeah. Right.
and I'm like, I get it, because I understand exactly what he's saying. But anyhow, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me is just along these lines. I'm like, fuck it. I need to do something else because I don't want to deal with the stress.
Mm.
But I also want it'd be nice to be able to do something that had meaning. This job has zero meaning, and I'm fine with
Sure.
that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to I don't need to change the world. But it would be fine it'd be better to be a little bit lackadaisical in the mindset that I am, but also
Yeah.
actually be helping people more. You know what I
Right. Right.
mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so back to a couple of things here. This one I came across on, speaking of Facebook memories, and I wrote this down because I just kind of popped into my head, but it was a quote that I had posted, again, probably this, 13 years ago, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
It said, "You won't realize the distance you've walked until you take a look around and realize how far you've been." Okay.
Right.
So what it made me think about, and I know I remember not specifically posting it up. I remember why. I was a couple years sober and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of looking like Jesus Christ, like we just did 15 fucking years.
Yeah.
Um, when do you think was when you first got sober and all that started to get
Mm-hmm.
settled in? What do you think the first time it was that you realized the progress, or when you were able to sit back and like, Jesus Christ, I've made some progress here?
Right. Um, hmm.
Good question,
right.
huh?
Yeah, it is. Seriously, probably. I mean, probably when we had that apartment, that,
Right.
yeah, when we were out on our own, and probably wasn't right away when we had it, but, probably, after I had started driving again and, um, yeah, came home and looked around and went, well, shit, look at us. Um, right. Living on our own, paying our bills, being whatever the fuck we were being. Yeah. Definitely. And then clearly when I moved into that little house over by Gordon Square, yeah, that was a huge thing. That was, when I was on my own and living in that little house by myself and, out doing yard work and shit like that. It was like, God damn, and that was what, maybe 4 years sober, somewhere around there, three,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah, because you were in the upper on Cecilia for what, or not Cecilia, on
Bosworth, right?
Baltic.
Baltic, something. I don't fucking know,
Yeah,
man.
Baltic, I think. Baltic? Does
Yeah.
that sound
Yeah,
right?
it was Baltic.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, you were there for what, 3-4 months after I left?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, so you got to figure, yeah, easily, 3.5, maybe
Right.
coming up on 4 years that you would have been
Yeah.
in that house somewhere in that area, right?
Yeah. 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 And it was, yeah, it was like, goddamn, I had my own little house, my own little, I mean, I was renting it, but yeah, and out there taking care of the yard and being all fucking grown up and shit, man. It's, whatever at that point, mid late 40s, right? Yeah. Yeah. Fucking A, man.
I
Yeah.
know.
11 years ago.
Right. Yeah, and I think probably the first time that I had I don't know, a whiff of something like that, not the full feeling, but when I got that first job at that collection agency, and I know I mentioned it before, but that the first time that I had an hour lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just able to just sit out. I sat outside and I ate my lunch,
Right.
for an hour,
Right.
and I'm like, I've got. I mean, I'm just like, I'm by myself, you know.
Yeah.
I have a job. I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
making like not big money again, but
Sure.
kind of real-ish money again.
Yeah.
So that was that first inkling. But yeah, I remember that because the first week that we were in the house when you and I moved in together, I was down
Mm-hmm.
by mom's because I started that job.
Right.
So I was down by mom's that first week. We didn't have electricity. Um,
Yeah.
but I do remember that first night that I slept in my room there.
Mm-hmm.
That was like I was like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, you and I got along really well at the time, and
Sure.
but we were living in a little fucking bedroom together.
Yeah. Yeah.
For goddamn
11
year.
months. Yeah.
Um,
Not that I was counting or anything, but yes, it was 11 months. We
yeah.
were shared a bedroom in a house.
Yeah, in anyone, just I whatever bedroom you're in right now. If you're in a newer home, it's bigger than the bedroom we were in.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
What was it? 8 by 10? No, 8 by 10 by.
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to think here because you figure a bed's in there. If I laid
Yeah,
all the
well,
way down, I'm 6 feet.
yeah.
Might have been 9.
Yeah.
God, no bigger than 10 by 10.
Yeah. No, God, no. No. It definitely wasn't square. It was rectangular. So yeah. It was probably 8 by 10. Yeah.
That's I would say that's a really, really good guess. That's educated guess because I'm thinking about how I would be laid down, and
Yep.
I'm 6 feet tall. There's really
Yep.
3-4 feet in there. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, then the other one I remember driving back to when the first in all these things just started popping into my head as you were talking. Because once again, I didn't think of when I read this. I'm like, I can't think about this. There's probably too many things. But when I went back to Wisconsin for the first time,
Right.
and that was right after my 2-year anniversary. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right in that time frame, or either right before or right after my 2-year anniversary. And the same thing being on a trip like that by myself,
Right.
and I stayed in a hotel, and my
Yeah.
son was with me and whatever, but just back in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and feeling weird, a little uncomfortable,
Uh-huh.
but also just a whole fucking lot of freedom.
Yeah. Right.
like you said, what, 43 years old, I think at
Yeah.
that time, 41, 42, 43 is
Yeah.
ish,
Yeah.
and all those things.
Yeah, and even older for me.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, we're both, in our early to mid 40s, at this time, and
right.
we're these things like, wow, we're a big boy now. It's just, but I'll tell you what, you don't get here without being there. So
Exactly.
no, that's yeah. It just I've always liked, and I know I've probably reshared that quote over the years, but I don't know why it hit me this time to
Right.
actually write it down. But I thought, God, it might be a good question
And of
to
course,
ask
it
you.
reminded me of our little buddy Vinny. We used to say in a group,
Oh, yeah.
you don't walk 10 miles into the woods, turn around, take 2 steps, and expect to be out of the woods.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, I mean, once again, very visual saying.
Yeah.
Not only very poignant, but just a visual
Mhm.
type of thing. And speaking of that, have you heard anything
Nah.
from him or no?
Nah. I asked some people that knew him. Shit, this was probably 3 years ago, maybe, and hadn't heard anything. I know he'd like gotten married and something and blah blah, but yeah, no, he disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I hope he disappeared and is still doing well, because he was
Right?
I mean, somebody that I enjoyed the shit out of him. I really
Yeah.
did. I know you did too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, throw our good thoughts out to the we. Throw some we over there over to
Yeah.
him.
Absolutely. Here,
All right.
have our we.
And have our wee for both
Wow.
of us. That would be throwing our wee at him. Here you go, Vin. Here's a wee. Smack you in the face with our wee.
Yeah, don't Google that.
Yeah, fuck that. That's going to be part of our search words
Yes,
now.
exactly. Get us back in that piss drawer.
No, I just don't put it in writing. As long as we don't put it in writing, we're fine.
Okay.
Because like I said, I optimized by mistake with the help of your title and my description.
Yep.
I mistakenly optimized the SEO on that episode perfectly, and it still fucking shows up.
Sure does. Mature piss.
Yeah, that's us.
Hi.
Hi there. Wait. Are you mature and I'm piss?
Hi, mature and piss in the morning.
We should do piss in drawers, kind of like piss in boots.
Right.
Hey, it's piss in drawers in the morning. Welcome. Hey there.
Yeah. Waka waka.
All right. Anyhow. Okay. Back to Alcoholics Anonymous stuff. What do you say?
Yes, sure.
So this came up on a podcast I was listening to. I'm talking about old school AA guys.
Yeah.
Like the sit down and shut up guys, the in your face type of guys, that sort of thing. So I was listening to a podcast, and the host actually referred to those individuals as damaging at times, or at those. Okay, wait. Let me just finish the sentence.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Damaging at those times. The only end of my sentence was opinions? ? I said, "What's your opinion, Mike?" I think I already got it, but go ahead.
Yeah, my opinion is fuck you, you pussy. As you were saying, yes, the old school in your face. Shut up, sit down, and listen. That's me. That's what I've. Yeah, that's the role, the mantle I have taken up, and proud to be one of those grumpy old timers, and not grumpy, I'm joyful and I'm happy and I'm not glum and all that shit. But you're new, shut the fuck up, sit down and listen to what we have to say. Because, I don't want to hear what the fuck you have to say. I don't want what you have, I don't want to be back there. No, thank you. You have nothing that I want. So if you want what I have, shut up, sit down, watch what I do. Yes, I'm that guy. So damaging. Fuck you. No, and from my perspective, it's exactly what I needed. That's why I am this way to new guys. Because that's what I needed. Now, if I'm damaging to someone, well, then maybe they need to go find someone and get a hug somewhere, but it ain't going to be from me.
Right.
And that's fine. There are people that will hug you. Go find them. I'm not that guy. I never will be. I don't want to be, because that's not what I needed. I didn't need somebody to give me a hug. I needed a fucking finger in my chest. And hi, here's your finger.
Yeah, and it was so funny. I was listening to the podcast and I immediately paused it, went into the because I've got a note for these podcast items.
Right.
I just added it right away, and that's why I wanted to kind of do the setup and get you. I wanted to pull you along. And you're like, yeah, I know those guys. I know those guys.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm like, fuck you, you're damaging. You're like, whoa. But no, I'm of the same opinion. I agree with you 100% because the thing of it is, and what I don't know what people actually experienced. You know, in this individual, I know how long they've been sober. It's less time than us, but they've got some time. You know, so it's not they're not 2-3 years sober, and they're not 30 years sober. You know, you talk to somebody like Dr. Sarah, for instance, when we had her on, and she talks about the women, even 30 some years ago. My dad. You know, I mean, I think I've told that story. Jack literally pinned him up against the wall by his throat.
Right.
And told him he's going to fucking die if he doesn't get his shit together. You know, he's going to die and he's going to leave his kids and all these sort of things. And I mean, yeah, this was back in 1981. I've never had anyone lay hands on me. I've never had anyone even raise their voice to me, you know, because I've never done anything to deserve that. And people aren't fucking assholes. They're just straightforward. It's like when you walked, I don't know, when I was in school, there was a certain etiquette when I walked into school. You know,
right.
And if you're fucking around, they're going to tell you to sit down and shut up. You got to learn. Now, these days, I don't think they might use those. Maybe they don't use those words. I don't know. I haven't been in a school, a long time. But I think those teachers, whether it's elementary school all the way up through, some university professor, they command and they demand respect. You know, they're doing a job. You know.
Yes.
And I think the same thing applies when you walk into an AA meeting. It's no different. You know.
Right.
So
only difference is, you're gonna fucking die.
Right.
Yeah. As our buddy Danny says, there's no games in these rooms. It's life and death.
Right.
And it is. Yes, exactly. And yeah, damaging. I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It not only made me laugh, but I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Mike's going to be mad.
Yeah, not mad. Annoyed.
No, I know.
You're damaging me, motherfucker. You're fucking triggering me, motherfucker.
I didn't mean bad. Mike's going to have a strong opinion about this.
Yes, I am. I am absolutely.
Would.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
and
fuck
I agree.
that shit, man. No, I'm not. Coddling and babying you, and what the fuck's that going to get you? Co-signing your bullshit,
right?
That's going to get you sober? I don't fucking think so. No, it's not going to get me sober. It didn't. Yeah, no, what got me sober is no. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Sit down and shut the fuck up. Okay, thank you, sir. May I have another?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just and it's like I said, the person's got enough time where they're I don't know, they got the same their background like us and stuff like that. It's not. I know there's different type of programs or softer stuff. You were in the California stuff and the getting in touch with all that sort of things. Whatever works for people works for people. It's just if it's specific to like if you're an AA person and you're offended by the people that are old school like that. I don't understand it, but to each his own, right?
Right.
But
yeah. Again, find another meeting, find somebody that's going to hug you and tell you everything's going to be okay. I want a guy to tell me, sit down, shut the fuck up. Everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You and I definitely we're definitely on the same page with that one. Okay, I got a couple. I got like these couple of articles that I came across. I think there was one more sober thing that. Oh, you know what? This one in it, I don't know that you can. I'm going to give you an out if this is just too hard to narrow down. But when you first again back to first gate when you got sober, what do you think the number one thing, or was there one thing that you think helped to keep you there this time? If you could narrow it down, was there one particular thing? And if that's what I said, I'm going to give you an out where if you don't know anything.
I've got it. No.
Oh, okay.
My willingness to do whatever the fuck I needed to do. Again, if I didn't understand it and it, it didn't feel right and it didn't feel good and it didn't feel, of course, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Of course it was going to be difficult. And but no, my willingness. I believe I read somewhere willingness is the key. And no, that's absolutely it. That's an easy one for me. my willingness to do what I had to fucking do, even if I didn't want to, especially if I didn't want to.
Well, that actually makes me feel better because when I wrote that down, I'm like, God, is this like asking him what his favorite step was?
Mm.
So I just didn't know. I didn't know if it was too hard to figure out. I'm glad you said
Yeah.
that. And you know what? I didn't think about it myself, but when you said willingness, see, it was my stubbornness that kept me there.
Sure.
I mean, again, inadvertently,
Mhm.
I mean, having no place to go was the other thing. That was the
that always
easy one.
helps.
that was the easy and the most logical answer.
Yeah,
But
right. Sit here or a fucking park bench. Yeah.
but I think it was my stubbornness when I'm just like, well, fine, fuck you people. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to sit down, cross my mental arms, and you can talk to me all you want, but I'm not saying a goddamn word.
Mhm.
Again, I sat down and shut myself up.
Yeah, right.
So fuck you and your damage.
Uh-huh.
I self-damaged myself.
That's right.
Well, if you can't get somebody else to damage it, damage yourself. Hello.
Beat you to the punch.
That's why God gave us two hands.
That's right.
God. Okay, so I've got some fun stuff here. I don't even know how many of these things I have, but I know I've got a couple of them. So I came across, and this was kind of funny. I had this written down from. It doesn't even matter when. But I think it's just with all the traveling, and I usually stop at a particular truck stop if I can while I'm out and about. So it
Mhm.
just kind of made me think about it with all the traveling you did. Did you have a favorite truck stop, a place that you would rather go?
I mean, like a specific location or a type
No,
of
just a brand of truck stop, or if you could.
I mean, they're all about the same. I mean, they really are. I mean, the company I work for, Pilot or Flying J, is where we get our fuel. So that's what I go to pretty much anymore. No, I mean, again, being out there, there were certain ones that I liked more than others. Absolutely. There was the Pen 80 I used to go to a lot because the salad bar was good, and there's a TA down in Atlanta that's just got a fabulous fucking buffet.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, like really, really good Southern food.
Right.
So if any time I could go there, and there were ones that were awful. There's was it down by Atlanta? Yeah, there's a Petro down there that's a fucking zoo that I would avoid at all costs. But occasionally you have to. The one in Chicago is fucking awful. I don't even think that. I'm pretty sure that one is an independent. Yeah, it's not one of the major ones. The big one in Chicago, and that's fucking awful. And you got to pay to park there. And
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I suppose it's Chicago. Why wouldn't they charge you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a fucking dump. Yeah, but I mean, they're all the major brands. The Pilot Flying J, which is the same company. Petro and TA are the same company. Loves,
really? Okay.
Yeah. And Loves is their own thing. Loves is generally pretty nice.
Right.
Yeah. Why? What's yours?
Loves is, and it happened. It happened by default when I think I might have been to one beforehand, but when they specifically over the last few years when they built that one on the Indiana and Ohio border,
right?
Because there was a Subway there they used to stop at sometimes,
right?
And then that whole section cleared out. Everything cleared out during the pandemic, and then there's a is there a Flying J over there or Pilot? They built the Pilot on one side and then the Loves on the other. And when they first got the Loves there, I stopped there and I'm like, God, this is nice in here.
Yeah.
And then I had the coffee there, Colombian coffee is really good. And then what I found is just doing all this traveling over the last couple of years. First of all, I find Loves all over the place.
Yeah.
And I started going there because they got good coffee. They're always clean. I've never been into one that's not been clean.
Yeah.
They're clean, they're friendly. But the other thing too is their gas prices usually are pretty well in line. At pretty decent prices. And then I signed up for the app recently, so when it works, if it takes my phone number right, I get 5 cents or 10 cents off a gallon when I get gas there. So, but that was just a kind of a random thing. And then it was funny this morning. they started reading on the radio show, the morning show. They said the fuel your road trip with the top 10 gas stations in the U.S. And Love's is number 10.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of All Ups or Yes Way?
No.
Never have either. Says New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. And I mean,
Okay.
I went through all three of those states and never saw one.
Right.
Where's the other one? Oops, there's an ad. Rudders. Ever heard of a Rudders?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 8. Maverick.
Yeah.
Heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah, that says based in Utah. Never heard of that. Racetrack.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of a Racetrack.
Yeah.
That's for.
There was actually in PA. There was a small truck stop that was actually. The truck stop itself wasn't all that great, but it was like right in the middle of those like huge hills and this little valley thing.
Really?
It was, yeah. And it was a small, not a lot of parking, but it was kind of a nice place to kick for the night. So yeah, a racetrack. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even seen one. Maybe I have, but maybe. Then they have Quick Trip, spelled Quik. I've ran across some of those actually in my travels. I've been in a couple. They're decent. Royal Farms. I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, that's East Coast. That's like Virginia, Eastern Pennsylvania, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Hy-Vee, they have Fast Fresh. I ran across those when I was in Lake of the Ozarks and stuff like that. Casey's, I've been to those a number of times. Those are usually decent coffee. And this kind of surprised me, but I know this is not even know. They said this is why she read it. Quick Trip, Wisconsin Quick Trip is the number one. They have 800 stores. I had no idea there was so many now. 800 stores in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, South Dakota, and Illinois. I knew they had a couple in Minnesota and Iowa. I didn't know about the rest. But I mean, of course I love Quick Trip. I mean, it's just I grew up around them when they were just they're little shit stores.
Right.
But now literally you can do grocery shopping in there if you'd like. But no, it just that was random, from this morning. But I was just curious about the truck stop. So okay, here's one more on here that actually at least one for sure. I didn't read through this, okay, because I thought this would be fun. 8 phrases narcissists love to use when they're quietly. Let me start over, Mike.
Stroking out there. What's going on?
Apparently. 8 phrases narcissists love to use when they're quietly craving validation. Okay.
All right.
I didn't read these because I think I'm a recovering recovered yet. I am a recovering narcissist. I've admitted that. We don't have to go with number 1, do we? Hang on here. Yeah. Fuck it. It doesn't matter what order they are. So the first one on this list, if I can get back to it now. I'm the best at what I do. Validation is tricky business, especially blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. The phrase itself. No one appreciates my efforts. Oh, God, I think I've said both of these before. Not recently, thank God.
I've never said either of them. Go ahead.
People always take advantage of me. Not always. I've felt taken advantage of.
I've probably worked that one a little bit, but yeah, not in a long time.
Yeah, 15 plus years maybe.
Yep.
I always end up with the short end of the stick.
Oh yeah, there's one. There we go.
That's a familiar one. Hi, welcome back. I never get the recognition I deserve. I don't need anyone's approval. I don't.
Right? Yeah, I don't need many, but I do need a few.
And I don't know that I've ever used those exact words, but I'm sure that was one of my pissy things. Well, fine, I don't need anyone's approval.
Right? Yeah.
Why don't people see things my way? I don't care what others think of me. Okay, so I didn't read this one yet. Obviously, any of these before, but let's pause on that one real quick.
All right.
I think that could be healthy.
I don't need anyone's approval.
Yeah, I don't care what others think of me.
Oh, I don't care what others think of me.
Right.
Again, most people, no, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. But yeah, but no, there are people that I do care what they think about me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not a 100% statement, but it's
No.
easily we've become comfortable with ourselves, whereas we could say
Yes.
that about a lot. Not a lot. But there's a percentage of people in this world.
Oh yeah, 90.
I wasn't even going to go that high, but sure, let's go 85.
Yes. All right. Yes. A very large majority, I don't give a fuck. But yes, there's that small percentage of people that I absolutely care what they think about me.
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I care what you think about me, so thank you very much.
Well, there you go. I care about what you think about me.
Yeah. Okay. God damn it. That was it. Okay. That no, I just thought that'd be kind of funny because I mean, again, I know that I said recovering with as it's continuous. I am
Sure.
recovering as a narcissist. Was that the last one I have? Hang on 1 second here. Oh, okay. Last one. We got a couple minutes here.
Right.
All right. So, if a man uses these, okay, for the 3 ladies out there that listen to us, sit back, start taking notes.
Uh-huh.
If a man uses these 7 phrases in a conversation, he hasn't grown up intellectually.
Ah.
That's just how I am. Take it or leave it, baby. That's not one of them. I'm just adding to that one.
Aha.
I don't have time. Well, that could be just true.
Well, yeah, I fucking A, man. No, but again, make time.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 3, I already know that.
Well, yeah, don't say it out loud.
Right. There's underneath it. There is a quote from Socrates. The more I know, the more I realize I know nothing. Ooh,
sure.
Thank you, Socrates. Right. Socrates.
Yep.
It's not my fault.
Uh-huh.
I would love to use that phrase on a more regular basis, but I know it's not the responsible thing to do, so I don't.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. I don't care. Well, that's straight to the point. You haven't grown up intellectually because you just don't fucking care.
Right. Again, don't say it out loud.
Right. Next one. It's too hard. That's what she said. But anyhow, back to
yes.
Well, we haven't grown up maybe intellectually, emotionally. But it's too hard. It's not too hard.
It's not.
I'm always right.
Oh God.
Yeah, I can see that you've not been grown up. Okay. Oh, here, you know what? This is kind of funny. This is not a recovery-based article, but it says final thoughts. It's not about progress, or it's about progress, not perfection. The journey towards intellectual maturity is unique for each individual. It's a process, not a destination, and it's marked by continuous learning and growth. Those 7 phrases we've discussed are not definitive markers of a lack of intellectual growth. All right, progress, not perfection. From a non-recovery article. I was kind of impressed with that. So, all right. So I think those are the 3 fun articles that I had. I believe I'm through.
Yeah, right. Are you through yet?
That's what I was trying to get you to say that. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think we're good. We're right on the money. We're 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 27 seconds right now. Go.
Nice. What? Oh.
You're like, what?
What? Hi there. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to yet another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out, do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. Now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. Now it's time, kids. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying, "You cannot fuck off past here." Climb over that gate. Dream the impossible dream. Keep fucking off forever.
That sounded like the closing from Piss and Drawers in the Morning.
Hey, yes,
a little bit of little bit of a wacky closing. Okay, last thing here, and I forgot to mention this before, but remember I
Yes.
told you in when I was in North Carolina how dark it was, in that cabin. It was up on the hill, whatever. But there was like a house across the street with some lights and I think street lights down the road. I can't remember now, but it wasn't like it was dark, but not like fucking like you can't see dark.
Yeah.
It's like you can't fucking see dark around here.
Nice.
And there's one is probably like it's a gravel road off like a main two-way highway. Or 2-lane highway that you pull into. So probably about a mile back, maybe 3/4 of a mile. Couple of homes. You can see other like cabins and stuff coming back, but I think 1 or 2 homes. And then like there's across the street, there must be somebody else that lives down that area and farther down. But literally the first time I walked out at night when I was here, I'm like, I shut the door and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I couldn't see a fucking thing,
Yeah.
It's like I put my cell phone flashlight on. I'm just looking around. Do I see any fucking eyeballs? Anything looking at me? Anything? But yeah, it's really fucking dark, but super
All
quiet.
right.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Cool.
So, all right. But oh God, I'll tell you next week. I got to
All
tell
right.
you about the guy in Branson, and then the trail that I went to last
Off?
weekend. But no, this is one of the people in the condo. But tune in next week, folks. We're going to talk about some guy in Branson and a trail that Bill went down.
That's what we call in the biz a tease.
Whatever. We could be dead by next week.
Yeah.
I really wanted to hear that story. I'm sorry he's dead, but Jesus. Why did he just tell the story?
Well, you have to tune in next week and find out.
All right, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
We'll talk soon, I'm guessing.
Yes, we will.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.